G'day everyone. Proud to say Bar Karate is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. This week we're also sponsored by Vycobi. Vycobi, manufacturers of performance gear that helps you sail at your peak. G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. It's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. First off is Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
How are you? I did a speed one, that one, BP.
That was super quick, yeah. No, very good. G'day world. Well, heat wave here in London. Quite unusual for the locals, but actually quite nice for myself. So that's where it's all at.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's bring in the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Don't melt with all the other UKers over there, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to get the budgie smugglers out and go walking.
I must admit, I'm in the middle of a heat wave as well. And I won't be letting on where I am. It's obviously top secret, but it is a heat wave, and it is a place where it's normally quite cold. So there's no such thing as aircon in this joint.
No.
So if you don't hear from me, it's not the internet dropping out, it's me dropping out.
What?
Just sliding off my chair, just smack my head on the way down.
Love it.
Fresh out of the Maxi Worlds. We'll chat about that later.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll save that for after the interview. So stay tuned, everyone. But you're going to get a cracker this week as well.
Well, there's a lot to talk about. We actually got a pretty full book. I'm pretty excited about our guest though this week. Are we into guest stage? Are we going to that, or is there any other banter that's going to come in?
No, we'll save some of the banter. Sorry. This will come. You'll understand why I'm laughing. But we'll save the rest of the banter till after the interview.
All right. Well, we're real topical. We're right on topic with our guest this week, because she has just destroyed the opposition at the recent World Champs, the World Sailing Champs, sailing in the 49er FX. Our guest this week is the new World Champion by a very tidy margin. Please welcome to the show, Vilma Bobeck. How are you?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm good. Also quite hot here in Stockholm, but yeah, it's really cool to be here with you guys. So yeah.
Now, Vilma, just before we do kick off, when I introduce myself, we don't know each other. When I introduce myself offline before, and I mention my name, hi, I'm Bice. Bice in Swedish, as we all know, I think the direct translation is shit or something.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah, no, it's good. So, and I've mentioned it on the show before, but it's always a good icebreaker when doing a presentation in Sweden, that one. So I was wondering why you were laughing so much. I thought you must have listened to the show before, but no, it was my name.
Vilma, do you ever, like, when you get up, like, I can't say the number of times I've got up and said to the wife, I've just got to go and do a good Bice.
Yeah. Now we all know what you're referring to, so yeah, that's good.
Righto, keep it clean, move on.
Oh, a bit rich coming from you, Mr. SpongeBob SquarePants.
Sorry about that. He just showed up.
Right. Okay, let's get into this. First off, congratulations.
Absolutely. Let's start with that.
It was a mighty impressive performance at the World Champs. You must be pretty ecstatic.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's been a really unusual couple of weeks, I would say, is maybe the right word for it. It's I don't think I've ever, me or Rebecca, have ever had such a week of performance, and then to wrap it all up at the World Championship was truly something, crazy. But we'll try and figure out how we did it, and then try and do it again.
Try and replicate it. I love the honesty. But yeah, what a fantastic performance. So you're saying you exceeded your expectations, is what you're really saying?
Yeah, I think we knew we had it in us, but maybe for a race or for not even a day with such a performance, but to make it happen every day for a whole week was, I think we really nailed to put together what we needed, and then I think we exceeded our expectations by far. But then we really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, as you would. So, did you? You mentioned you're trying to work out how you did it, but I'm assuming you must have had a good little debrief. Was it just a whole matter of little things coming together, do you think? And just the culmination of being on the water with Rebecca, or what do you think it came down to?
I think it's a hard question to ask, to answer. And also, we haven't actually had the debrief. It's going to go later on this week. We've been full vacation mode since the Worlds and just coming back to it now. But I think, obviously we got really good speed, and that's been a lot of work and effort put into that over the years to make that happen. But then to sort of tie it all together like we did is down to the details. And we were quite unsure of how we would benchmark ourselves against the fleet, considering the few sailings hours we actually got together this year. So I think also coming into a big regatta like this made us do the simple things right and not complicating things too much. Maybe that was it. I don't know.
I guess that's a really, really good point. And now you've got this behind you or underneath your belt, it's so to speak. Keeping that formula in place is going to be the key moving forward, isn't it? Because you're going to have a target on your back now, and you got to try and make sure you keep it low key and cool.
Yeah, I think. We're still excited for the next year to come. Like, our big main goal is still 11 months away. So coming in with this year, when we started sailing together, we said, okay, we want to medal at this Worlds, because that was our big goal, to have a chance at medal at the Olympics. But to do it like this was way over our expectations. So I think, but that's also what I'm so confident in me and Rebecca's teamwork, that we always know what's next to do on the list. And the work doesn't stop here. We had a really great week in The Hague, but Marseille is a completely different sailing area, so we have a lot to do.
It's, just looking at your scorecard, you went 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3 by race 11. At about then, did you just start to go, well, this is done and dusted? Where, that's I'm feeling pretty comfortable. Was that conversation happening?
Comfortable would be, I would say we were quite comfortable there in the top. We were quite spoiled as well. So I think the race after
12 and 13
sort of had a dip.
Do you want me to read that out for you? That was a 19th, and then you got black flagged.
Yes. So the 19th race, we were caught off guard a bit because we were quite spoiled sailing around by ourselves most of the time, not having so much traffic, which is a really spoiled thing to say. But then when we got caught in the traffic, we were like, oh, right, this is what's racing again. So,
in my
mind,
good
lesson to be learned.
In my mind, the coaches said to you after race 11, you know what, we're looking pretty good, ladies. You're allowed to go out and have a fun night. And what he forgot is how hard the Swedish go, how hard you Swedes go once you go out and have a fun night. And I think that's what's going on. Am I right?
Lady never tells, huh?
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm pretty sure it wasn't as big as that night we had in The Hague, Jordan Spencer.
No, I'm not saying a word, but you did get heavy after a while trying to carry you home.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Anyway, look, it's a great place to hang out, Hague. No, look, what about, I want to ask, who your training partners were going into this regatta? Who are you doing all your two boating and stuff with?
So we've been training with a lot with the Norwegians, the 2 Norwegian boats, and we had a training group from after the last Worlds until this Worlds, and we're trying to fit all our schedules still together with the Dutch and the Polish.
Which Dutch team?
Yeah, the one who came second at this World and
second.
first
That's
at the
what I
last
was
one,
getting
so.
to. Yeah. I figure, because when we talk to some of the Ilka ladies, you know, there's this whole Northern European squad thing going on where they're all training together, and there's a lot of strength coming out of that. And I'm just going, it looks like the same thing's happening in the women's skiff, you know, the 49 FX. And so I just wondered, I figured that was going on. And so you're obviously, because I think the Dutch team won the Paris event, didn't they? The tune-up event for Paris, I think. Yeah. So you guys are locking down the medals, is what I'm sensing.
Yeah, it's been really good training between the regattas, and then really good fighting, I would say, out on the race course, which is what we really enjoy about it. That we can stay such good friends on shore, but then when it comes to the racing, it's literally up to the best ones.
Gloves on.
What language do you continue the banter on the water in? Swedish, Dutch, English?
Depends if we want them to know what we're saying.
What you're talking
about. Good answer.
Oh, dear. At this regatta, we'll get on to how you got into your sailing and stuff first, but I just want to sort of rip this regatta apart. Were there any performances that caught you by surprise? It may have been your performance, it may have been someone that did really well, or someone that didn't do as well. Because, you know, when we look at it, we sort of, there's a few that we react to.
I wouldn't say I was super surprised by anyone, because I think the whole FX fleet, or the top 15, is a really strong fleet, and that the positions can vary quite a lot. And then going into a championship with the first national qualifiers as well, there's a lot of tension going on in the air. So a bit of exceeding expectations, but also maybe some people not doing as well as the whole fleet know that they can. Isn't that surprising? Without
you talk. You're not giving names. I'll say a name. I'll say a name, so you don't have any pressure. But I mean, we're friends with Martine, and so the Brazilian team, they finished 12th, you know, and they've won a couple of golds in the fleet. So I was interested to see that result, and I was wondering if you guys had found some speed difference, or it was just different conditions, or, you know, there was a few sort of ones, and the other one that sort of was for the lack of time they've had in the FX was the Australian team, Olivia Price and Evie jumping into the bronze. I thought that was a pretty impressive performance, because it takes a long time to get mastery in a boat. So, yeah, I was just going through. There's plenty of others to talk about, but they're two that jumped out to me.
Yeah, I would agree, but it's also so hard. I don't know the racing that week particularly well to say anything more about it. But I mean, the Aussies were sort of up there sometimes at the test event that we talked about earlier. So I wouldn't be too surprised about it. And then as for the Brazilians, it's a hard one. Sometimes I don't know, really. It's hard to say. But what I do know is that never count them out.
That's it. Yeah. If I was coaching, I'd be going, don't write them off. That's not something you can do.
Well, you could almost say that, like Jens, the top 15.
Yep.
You know, you can't count any of them out, right?
That's right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is pretty cool. It's a cool boat. Like I'm really happy that this is in the fleet for the Olympics. The skiff boat, the 49 FX, it's a good boat. It doesn't have the silly pumping that you've got in the 470s, and it's sort of, you powered up quickly. The way the crews sail the boats now is really, it's beautiful to watch. The level and standard of the way that people are sailing these boats. It's just impressive. And I guess, as a young kid coming into sailing, to think that you're at the top of that tree, you must be thinking, the ego's getting a bit out of control now. Is that something?
Mate, she's not you, Jordan Spencer. We got to keep a bit of a handle on things around here, Vilma. Like we keep him down to the same level. So,
yeah, I haven't really thought about it in that way, to be honest. I don't think so. For me personally, I don't really look at results. Like, it's a big goal for me, but once the regatta is over, it's sort of, okay, what's next?
Right.
Yeah, sure.
So I hope there's not an ego thing going on. But yeah, it's weird because it's funny looking back at it. When I started in the Olympic circuit, sort of, and I always looked up at the podium, and especially the gold medalists, and now being a part of that is quite big. But yeah, so much left to do still. So don't have so much time to think about it.
Yeah, and that's the good attitude to have.
So, whilst we're on, we might as well just stay on this topic anyway. What is next? So, looking forward, you've obviously just competed there. You've got the debrief coming up. I'm assuming you're moving boats around and a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, a lot of logistics. I just came back from reorganizing our trailer and swapping out the boats and making sure everything's set for the winter. So now we're going into training mode again. So we're off to Marseille for another training camp on the Olympic waters to make sure that we just get as many hours there as possible. And then we still have Europeans coming up in November. So we're not quite done for the year. And then another World's coming on in March again. So
off air before Jordan came on, you called your boat the super boat, and that's gone into cotton wool. So you've packed that boat up and put it away, ready for a regatta in a couple of months' time. And now you're going to train on the other boat. What's the other boat's name?
The other boat's name, the super boat's name is not the super boat. We just call it that.
Can I just suggest you call it the Bice boat?
Yeah. No, probably not.
Is that the one we're bringing up now then?
Yeah, the training boat.
Who knows? It's actually, that does translate directly in Aussie as well.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go, we were just sailing the shitter.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But what are the rules around that, boat-wise? So you can take your super boat straight into the Olympics?
Yeah, so we ordered a new boat for this year that we was hoping to use on the test event and the Worlds, and it proved it was a bit delayed, so we didn't get as much training with it as we wanted. So we just kept our fingers crossed and hoped it would be fast, and now I think we know that it's quite fast. So we're putting it away and saving it for the games, and then bringing out my old boat, basically, but
the Bice
also
boat.
Quite fast.
Yeah,
the Bice boat.
It's going to stick. It's going to stick.
Oh, come on.
The whole 49er fleet will be, there's the Bice boat. Oh, I love it. Can we talk about the conditions? So not just at The Hague, but also what we're going to see in Marseille for you guys. But first off, with The Hague, all that tide, that we were watching, we were cackling away watching the Ilka stuff when they all got sort of pinned on the mark, was that unexpected, or you've been doing plenty of sailing off The Hague?
We actually haven't been doing that much sailing in The Hague or in that much tide. Anyhow, we're from Sweden, so there's not much tide going on here. So I was actually pretty nervous going into this event because I was like, tide. How is it like working with this? Because neither me or Rebecca knew about it, but we had like a big briefing about it, so we were prepared of how to think. And that's what we said. That's the most, I think, said quote from the regatta between me and Rebecca. We're like, okay, our biggest threat now is the marks, so let's keep distance,
Yeah.
so it didn't do anything stupid. So yeah, but I'm lucky we're in a faster boat than the Ilkas, because the slower you go, the more affected you get by the tide.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, and also we had pretty good timing with the racing hours. So
Okay.
we got wind and tide, which is a good combo, and not so little wind and a lot of tide, because then that's when you're fucked, I think.
Basically.
I
Yeah.
love it. But I mean, in the 49 FX, the main area it's going to show, as you said, is around the marks, but also the starting, whether you get pushed over on the starts or get held back behind. But that's where it's going to have the biggest impact.
Which we did once.
Yeah. That's good. You've got to make mistakes. Well, you made mistakes when you could. You had everything in the bag, so it's good. And so with the conditions that you raced in, does any of that correlate to what you're going to get in Marseille? Like, are you going, okay, this is pretty similar to what we're expecting in Marseille, and you beauty, we've got a fast boat, super boat, we're away?
Yes and no, I would say. Not so much tide going on in Marseille, but there is a swell.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, the same. But
what about
other than
wind
that,
strength?
I think what's fun about Marseille, or what I really enjoy about it, is that it's so different conditions every day. So you never know what to expect.
Yeah.
Which is quite a nice feeling going in, I think, and that makes it even for everyone.
Yeah.
As well, like you can't be. Hopefully it's not going to be one of those, it was a heavy wind regatta or a light wind regatta. We're going to have everything. And then I think those are the most fun weeks of racing.
Well, based on what every regatta we've almost kind of spoken about, not just for you guys, but anywhere in the world, typically this year, everyone said, well, it's never normally like this. So if you're going in expecting what the normal conditions are like, maybe just flip that coin over, I think. So, which will be interesting.
Yeah. Maybe you're on something.
What do you feel your strength is? I mean, obviously some people are suited to certain conditions. Where do you stand with your own strengths?
I guess I have to say our super strength is really what we had in The Hague for most of the time, above 10, 12 knots, and we're having a speed advantage over the fleets, which is a quite comfortable position to be in.
Yeah.
But the waves in Marseille are a bit trickier, I remember, and they can be a bit choppier, and like having waves from one direction and swell from the other, making the handling a bit tricky. And I would say the fleet's really gotten better with the boat handling, but since me and Rebecca haven't had so many hours in the boat this year, I don't know how we would stand.
Just so on that, Vilma, that not so many hours, I was reading a few injuries this year. Is that what led to that, or?
Yes, a few. It actually started a year ago after the last Worlds, where we were training in The Hague at the test event, and then we nose pitch pulled, and I got hit and had to go do stitches. And then the injuries, bad luck, just started rolling from there, basically. So we had a bit of everything. I had a lot of small injuries, and Rebecca had a big one. So our coach sent us last week, the amount of sailing days we've had this year, and it's not so many, including regattas. So
maybe wrap you up in cotton wool with the super boat.
I reckon,
that's what we're always joking about.
Put you in the container and leave you there for a couple of months.
Well, some of our listeners might have seen on social media this week, BP and his mate Disney got dressed up in these blow-up suits. So maybe we could send some suits over. You could put them on so you just don't have any injuries.
A couple of sumo suits.
I'll tell you what, they get pretty warm inside there. You probably fade away pretty quick.
Not from Marseille then. Where it's so hot.
So with the lead into the Olympics, as you said, it's clearly, I guess, from your perspective, not only are you the world champion, but you're qualified for the Olympics. without a shadow of a doubt that you're the selected team for Sweden. So you're going to the Olympics. That pressure's gone, right? So you can just think, okay, here we go. I mean, I'd be shocked that you don't get picked. Stranger things have happened. I asked a couple of New Zealand fin sailors, but the thing is that your focus can be totally just the event. Now you don't have to think about qualifying. You don't have to think about anything else. You've pulled that out. Does that make you feel more relaxed, or you're just on mission, or you're thinking, oh, it's just a different form of stress now?
Yeah, it's tough, tricky question to answer. I think I don't really. We're still not selected by the Swedish Olympic Committee, but yeah, it's looking good. But I wouldn't say it's done until it's done.
Look, let's be honest. Your face is going to be up in the supermarkets in Sweden because it's going to be happening, right? The build up to the Olympics. You're as close as you're one of the gold medal favourites now. So let's be honest. When I go if I'm in Sweden buying veggies, you're probably going to be a big cardboard cutout of you next to me. Like that's what's going to be happening. I know it. You know it. Are you ready for it?
I don't think so until I see it. But yeah. So oh, that's such a weird thing.
The great blonde hope. That's every Swedish athlete. The great blonde hope. Here we go. Going for gold.
Fit the picture perfectly.
Well, they do it here in Australia. Like all the supermarkets, they do this. And, obviously, if it's a sailing person, we're mates with them, or, there's quite a few people in the team we're friends with. And so
But no one would recognise a sailing person in Aussie.
Yeah, I know. But so, one of my friends, Jess Tringrove, I've known since she was a little tiny kid. She was the marathoner and she was there and I was buying my fruit and, it was just very hard not to send stupid photos to her and just say, look at this, and play with her cardboard cutout. But I was much more mature than that, obviously.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah. We'll save this for the banter at the end of the show.
Yeah, but Vilma, you'll be there. So, that pressure's all gone. So it's just about sailing. So your coach would probably sitting down going, okay, let's just focus on events. This is what we need. This is our weaknesses. This is what we need to improve. As you said, we've got a bit of cross chop. We've got to work on that. So there'll be a bit of handling training going on, I assume, things like that.
Yeah. Now we go into training mode and basically try and do what we tried to do last year, but then never got the time to do. I think we're a bit relaxed, but also I think it's quite dangerous getting too relaxed. Yeah. And that's what we normally are quite good at, like always seeing, not really reflecting so much on the results, but really saying we need to make this and this better. And we still got a lot to improve from this year in total, I would say.
Yeah. Is it just you and who's heading down for this training camp?
Do you mean training partners? Or?
Yeah, training partners.
So I think most of the fleet will be there at some point, but overlapping the dates quite a lot. So we're just missing out on a coaches regatta where a lot of teams will be attending, I think.
Yep.
And then I just know that the Norwegians are going to be there at the same time as us. So we're going to do a lot of training with them, but then join in the racing, of course.
Yeah, cool. So if
what
your
was
coach
their response to you winning, what was their response to you winning the Worlds? Obviously, doing lots of sailing with them, they must have been happy, but going, what have we given some secrets away here? Or
No, we have a really good training partnership, I would say. So they were super happy for us, and they're like family. But then obviously they have their own trials and coming up. So we're just supporting on the sidelines, I would say.
Yeah, right. That's cool. Do you enjoy sailing the FX? Is it a fun boat?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's a really fun boat, and especially seeing how far the fleet has come.
Yeah.
I remember when starting out, and the coach we had at the time was like, okay, you need to know, like, reversing through the gate and all this silly stuff to get around the course, not capsizing. But if you do that now, you'd be dead last because people are not capsizing as much and strongly. So I think only that shows how far the fleet has come, and people are pushing the boundaries quite a lot, I would say. So it's really, really fun.
It's good.
They are a great boat.
Yeah. All right. Well, I do feel like we should just talk about the sport of sailing and your entry into it. Like, you're a Swedish lass, you know, so it's pretty cold there. Were you made to go sailing, or is that something you wanted to do from an early age?
Funny you ask. My dad's a huge sailing enthusiast.
Yep.
So it was quite natural for him to put me in sailing school, and then it sort of went on from there. And I think talent is a hard word to sort of explain it with, but I was really competitive as a child, and still am, obviously. So I was lucky, but maybe a bit unlucky as well, that my older sister was also sailing. So my biggest goal was obviously to beat her.
No one else in the fleet, just her.
And then when eventually I did, and she swapped classes, then the goal was to beat the older boys in the club, and then it sort of just went on and on. So I think I thought I really liked it because of the competitiveness.
Yep.
But then always out on the water, I don't think I had ever a bad time, really. So it came quite neutral, and at a high level.
Sorry.
At quite young age. So sorry, that was about it.
We had Sarah Douglas on a couple of weeks ago talking about a bit of burnout. She was the same, super competitive as a kid, and just wanted to win. And she got to a point where she just, that's it, and gave up for a couple of years. You mean, obviously you've still got that absolute passion and gone all the way through your youth career with that passion. So it's good to see. Yeah,
I did, but I also did quit for a couple of years, actually. So I did Olympic campaign, the FX for Tokyo. And then when COVID hit and the Olympics got postponed, me and my old crew stopped sailing. And then I was really done with sailing, actually, because I was so out of it. And not that we had a bad ending, but we just couldn't get the puzzle to get together, I think, is the best way to describe it. And I was, good way to explain it is actually burned out. So I did a complete swap and dropped everything that had to do with sailing and had no contact with anyone really from the sailing community, and moved up far north in Sweden, attended university for a year and a half, and just lived a completely different life before Rebecca phoned me asking if I wanted to come back.
Wow.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, well done, Rebecca.
As you were growing up, were you swapping out the wetsuit for the ski suit, as do many Swedes do when the cold weather hits?
Yeah, both interests are very close to my heart, and I actually wanted to be a skier when I was little, and maybe my dad was pushing a bit for the sailing, and then I wanted to go skiing, but then didn't have the time, obviously, because I was sailing so much from a young age. But I really enjoy the winters and the ski time we get as well.
What sort of skiing? When you say you want to
telemarker or standard?
Sort of,
So both downhill and cross country skiing. So I actually trained a little bit downhill skiing for a couple of years, but then had to stop when I moved away to sailing high school. So that was a very short career.
Right, we've got to ask. What's sailing high school? Do you fly down to Lanzarote? So you're there for the winter, or what's that? How's that work?
Yeah, I think it's quite special. So in Sweden, we have a lot of athlete high schools, basically, where they collect, like, obviously you have to apply, and then when you get in, you move away from home most of the time. So I moved 3 hours away when I was 15 years old and attended sailing high school. So then going to a normal high school, basically, but there is sailing practice every day. And
wow, how cool
we were like 25 kids there. And then just sailing every day. And you go an extra year, usually. So you go 4 years instead of 3. So you postpone classes so you get more time for gym class and sailing, basically. And then they're really good at like organizing, so you go to competitions together and stuff. So yeah, that was really, really good couple of years for me.
Yeah.
Imagine us at sailing high school,
I
boys.
know. What a
Mate,
life.
I'm just thinking about it now.
You might have turned up.
I might have even
today? No, mate, no way.
might have even went to high school.
I love it.
Down at semaphore all day. Hey?
For the listeners, like sailing in Sweden, I guess people don't sort of understand it. No, it's a big deal in Sweden. Sailing is a very important part of the nation. You know, there's some great clubs and there's some great events, and there's some absolutely crazy events. But you Swedes, you don't mind going for a yacht. You know, like what are some of the fun things or traditions about sailing in Sweden, or some of the crazy events that we should probably come and do?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, the interest goes up and down, I would say, but it really hit during Corona. I would say a lot of people got into yachting more, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And got a lot of boats. So the archipelago is,
The raid,
Yeah,
for sure. That has to be up there.
yeah. We have the raid competition, which is really cool across the archipelago that you should do, probably. We have the Gotland Runt, the offshore regatta around Gotland,
Yeah.
which is, I think, the biggest offshore, like in participants or boats, the biggest one, but it's a really short one, 2 days, and then a good party in Sandhamn.
Of course.
Sounds
Of which
perfect.
this year was super windy at the start, right? Because it's never
Yes.
like that. It's never like that. So,
I think
No.
almost a record of how few boats actually made it through the finish line.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a fun one when it's not the super windy
Yeah.
year.
I mean, and as you say, that when you talk about the archipelago, all the lots of little tiny islands, and navigation at night time must be just a nightmare in Sweden. I tell you, like you're forever bumping into things, aren't you?
Well, it's never
Um,
nighttime, though, in the middle
Oh,
of
of
summer.
course.
You always see where you're going.
Exactly. So just sail during the summer and you're fine. And
That's
the
right.
other time of the year, it's too cold anyhow.
For the
so-
6 weeks before summer, well, it's basically a 3-month window, right? Because it's too cold either side. And during that 3-month window, it's daylight at night. So it's like you've got full 6 months worth.
Yeah, it's
Just got to
perfect.
keep you on.
Sweden's the best.
Sweden's the best. Have
At
you ever got
summertime.
Have you ever got down to the boat and you've had to chip the ice off and all that sort of stuff?
Yep, happens a lot.
Nerd.
Just
Or
sends
Bice.
shivers down your spine, doesn't it?
Nah, no good. I could do with a bit of ice right now where I'm sitting, though, to tell you the honest truth.
You look like you're about to faint, mate.
What's the worst like experience you've had in terms of why am I doing this? It's too cold or too miserable, you know? Like if you, or is Sweden always just wonderful?
I guess that's
It's a
depends on
loaded
who you
question,
ask.
we call
I
it.
think it's also like the real training camps where you have to go and knock the ice off the boat to actually get the cover off because it's frozen to the boat.
Yeah.
Those are like
Yeah.
the terrible ones, but also the most fun ones, no?
Yeah. No, I'm
Mm.
And
interested.
having to peel yourself into a 5'3" wetsuit and
Yeah.
Oh, mate, dry suit.
Yeah.
yeah, straight into the dry suit. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
windage
people
now
ask
though,
us
mate.
why
You
we
got to
don't
think about
sail in
windage.
Sweden anymore.
I mean, because we do it tough down here in Oz, you know, like it gets so cold down here that we, you know, sometimes we have to wear a
wear a jumper.
wetsuit to go for a winter, to go for a sail, you know. Sometimes we actually have to rug up a little bit, but, you know, like you guys really have to go through it, you know, and I'm just intrigued at how you do it. But obviously now with the fact that you're training for the Olympics, as you say, you're going down to Marseille, but will you continue training all through winter down in Southern Europe or in the Canaries or something like that? Is that what the plan is? Or
Sorry, Vilma, I'm jumping in, and there's a second part to that question. When you're not sailing, when does the Swedish Olympic Committee tell you you're not allowed to go skiing?
Well, the first part of the question is, we go south. We haven't spent a single day sailing in Sweden this year, the FX at least.
Wow.
which is quite crazy. But we have such a hectic schedule and wanting as many hours as possible in Marseille, so we just couldn't find the time to do it. We had one training camp actually planned in Marstrand, but then I got injured, so that was pulled out of the planning. It was a shame. And yeah, the second question, the Swedish Olympic Committee hasn't said anything about it, no restrictions yet. But we sort of said it to ourselves. It's a very unnecessary risk to take. So I'm a bit bummed because I missed out on the ski season last year, and now having to do it again will be tough. But yeah, it's just not worth the risk, no?
That's just the commitment you got to take.
Yeah, we've been committed to no ski season for 50 years down here.
Mate, more like 300 years.
Plus, it's actually not yourselves who you'd have to worry about on the slopes. It would be someone like myself just coming through at a million miles an hour, taking everyone out.
On your
That one time I did go skiing.
Yeah, I've been thinking about walking uphill off-piste and doing some own ski trips, but not in the slopes. It's way too risky with all the crazy tourists.
Yeah.
Crazy tourists.
Bloody Aussies.
Bloody tourists. They're boss. What about your venues? Like, because you get this amazing life where you get to go and train in some cool places, have you got a favourite sailing venue, like a place where you just think, oh yeah, can't wait to go there?
Yeah, I actually talked about it the other day that I really wish we had more events in Garda.
Oh,
Like, I haven't sailed there in so long, since sailing the Europe thingy or the Optimist even. And yeah, it's really one of my favorite events, like venues to sail in, but why don't we have any events going on there? It's such a great place to sail at.
Well, I think most of the rest of the world would agree with you. I think that's definitely one. Yep. I'm interested. Yeah. Any others?
I think that's the top of the list. I really enjoy the sailing in Marseille, the city a bit less, to be honest. It's a bit
hold on to your handbag.
Yes.
The nipping around on scooters, stealing stuff.
Don't go out
exactly.
alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
They really warn you every time you go there. Yeah, don't go out alone. Don't be here. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
But the sailing is really nice, I think. I enjoy lots.
Yeah. I was just going to say, we need to give you like a little signal. So when you're racing in the Olympics and the camera's on the boat, you can just give the bar karate signal. So you just say hello.
We need like a symbol.
Yeah.
Funny you say that. No, funny you say that. It actually comes naturally to everyone anyway.
Yeah.
Especially after sailing.
Right.
It's our official, unofficial sign.
Is that the sign I have to do?
Doing the art of bar karate.
Yeah. You know you're here and I tacked here and bar karate. What about Women's America's Cup? Sweden's got a team?
Yes. And both me and Rebecca are part of the academy so far. So now with the FX sailing, we're also trying to get in a lot of foiling when we can and attending the camps. But it's a really cool project. And yeah, we're excited. We just hope we can do them both and not having to, it's a little bit of a risk, I would say, because we're taking away some days from the FX.
Yep.
But we don't want to give up the good chance we have leading up to the Olympics, but it's also such a cool project and something we're both really interested in. So,
well, as we know, Olivia Price is doing it, so she's heading up that team. So we'll see how that pans out in terms of time, and we know how much time goes into an Olympic project. But this is going to be interesting to see how it pans out for them because they've got to keep pushing that uphill curve, and it's going to be very busy for them.
Yeah, I think it's the same for everyone, but. I guess it's still a bit too soon to tell how much time that will take and how good it can fit together with our campaigning. But I think if we meet like halfway and have good understanding and communication, then I think it will be super cool.
What boats are you practicing falling on at the moment?
So currently they're running a lot of camps in the Wasps, and for those who have, also sailing them off. So yeah, I've been borrowing my dad's old Mac 2 and been out flying, which has been really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. What about, because I know they had
You mastered your jibes.
Yes, mastering the jibes now. Did one tack, but didn't get it on video. So I will have to figure out how I did it and do it again a couple of times.
What about, because they had the Gold Cup, Women's Gold Cup for the 69F. Have you guys got one of those for the team or?
No, but we have a boat coming, an AC40.
Oh, okay.
So we got the real stuff.
Ah. Yeah, push the button and go.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of work in the simulator as well. So yeah, I think we're super lucky and fortunate that we have Artemis Technologies backing that whole thing up and sharing so much of their knowledge.
And I mean, the AC40 for us, or for me particularly, obviously, it's a cool looking boat. Do you look at it the same way, or are you into it, the whole falling thing, or you're more of a traditionalist?
Yeah, I'm super into it. I think it's a really cool boat, but I'm also a bit scared, I would say. I've seen some of the videos of them crashing. It's quite fast and then nothing. So
quite slow.
I think I need to be a bit better before daring to step down into the boat.
Yeah.
Well, we saw the one the other day, right? Where Elengi, I think, big nosedive, and then they almost popped out backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the full negative G program.
Yeah, it was like sliding one of those life rafts off the back of a ship.
Yeah.
Almost. So actually, that could be good practice.
Now, Vilma, I do have some concerns for you. I'm a little worried for you. I've noticed you're an ambassador for Seagull Sales.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Unbelievable, this is.
Look at that. Started laughing before I said anything. You're just an ambassador for Seagull Sales, and she's lost it.
Well, you scared me a bit with the question. Bit of concern.
So you're relieved, in other words. Oh, only that? No.
Yeah. Now, how's that working out? How did that come about?
Well, basically, Cal just hit us up and asked if we wanted to join. And yeah, that's the easy story of how it began. So yeah,
did you get your Seagull Sales merchandise pack? Like a little bag?
Yeah, we got so many cool little bags with the Swedish
belt.
flag.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of hats, t-shirts.
Mm.
And a photo, and a signed photo of Kyle, of course.
Yeah, signed. Already framed, ready to hang with a nail and a hammer, everything to put on the wall.
I love it. I love it. Well, I mean, that's like, a couple of Aussies there that you've got that sort of time with Kyle and Dave, so that's cool. But yeah, well done on that one. But if you hadn't been a sailor, would it have been skiing? That's it? It would have been skiing? Or is there other things that you're passionate about, like, I don't know, bike riding or decoupage or croquet? Yeah. Big bash croquet.
No, I think, that's a tricky question. I haven't really thought about it. I think sailing is the big passion in my life, but then I have a lot of hobbies, but that's mostly for the fun parts and not maybe it would be really cool to eventually try and go into the professional side of sailing, but I don't think I would have the same drive in the other sports.
Yep.
And I'm quite lucky I chose this sport coming down to it. Like, just imagine standing on top of a ski slope and freezing to death instead of hanging out in all the cool venues.
Wiping the sweat off your brow, ready to hit the water. Exactly.
So yeah, I think I'm quite happy where I am at the moment.
It must be cool. Like you said, your dad's passionate for it, right? And your sister was doing it before you. So are they they must be pretty excited for you. Like, is there a lot of sort of just you beauty? I mean, do they get carried away?
Yeah, they're my biggest fan club by far, I would say. So it's really cool having their support. They actually flew down to The Hague. They didn't plan on coming, and I didn't know that they were coming as well. But then when we won, they were like, fuck, we have to go. So they came down and surprised me, which was super nice. So yeah, I'm really glad to have them on board. And they're like, we need to book Marseille next year.
Yeah. I mean, is Dad doing a bit of coaching? You know, does he still sort of look across and say, "Oh, have you thought about this? Is that going on?" Or?
He was actually my first coach and coached me up until I left for the sailing high school, which has been a lot of ups and downs in our relationships, I would say.
Wow.
And he still sometimes wants to be the coach. And it was funny because he always watches every race in the tracking and comes back with tactical decisions I could have made better every time. Like, I don't want to hear it. But after the Worlds,
sit down. You are going to hear it.
I don't have.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, it's like that all the time.
I love it.
He's like, yeah, I have a few points where you could have been better. I was like, thanks, Dad.
Do you reckon when
what
you were
about
at sailing high school, he was ringing the headmaster and saying, you know, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that?
Secret tracker on all the boats.
Yeah. No. I think it was good for us to have a bit of a break over those years.
When you're at sailing high school, do they like when we in the old days we used to get the cane here in Australia? You know, like if you're naughty and you sent to the headmaster, you used to get the cane. I was wondering at sailing high school, they hit you with a baton or they hit you with a spinnaker pole or
fiberglass baton. Didn't do a good nice roll tack.
Depends how bad you were. It was either soft, medium, or light top baton,
or one of those air ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, no one hits anyone anymore. Those things are over. But yeah, I'm just intrigued. You know what you could do. One of the air horns that could be a good one. So
I leave it up to your imagination.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So after the Olympics, will you continue for the next cycle, do you think? Like you're having a good time, or you're going to try and go more pro? Or are you going to just...
I think it's too soon to tell.
Yep.
Now I'm really focused for the Paris Games. And if you would have asked me in my last quad for leading up to Tokyo, I was like, I want to do 4 or 5 Olympics, sort of. And now I'm sort of... It really depends on the circumstances. If Rebecca wants to continue, then I think it would be stupid not to, considering all the work we put in. But if not, then yeah, I think we'll just take a break anyhow, try and do the America's Cup thing, and then see where that goes, basically.
Now that you've touched on it, let's talk about Rebecca for a second. She called you up and got you back into it. And we did thank her earlier for that. So what's sort of her background, and have you known her a long time, or is this just fresh and new?
No, she's a couple of years older than me. So she was in the last years of the sailing high school when I started. So we were there at the same time. But funnily enough, we did not hang out over those years. And if someone would have told me back then that I would be aiming for the Olympics with her, I would not have believed them.
Oh, was she a mean girl?
Is there some controversy here?
Yeah, controversy.
No,
like, was
I
she
think...
who was she a bit of a bully or?
Not at all. She was always very, very sweet, but I just think we hang out with, like, it's such a big group, so you obviously hang out with not everyone at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
And we just missed out on each other, I think, is the easiest way to explain it, even though it's a boring story. You guys.
We could turn it up. Don't worry about that.
We'll make it something.
My producer Mark Disney just handed me a video of her in rehab and her exercise regime. So it's Oh, look, that's easy. I can do that.
Yeah, right. Jeez, personal producer and all. This
Oh,
is
no,
it's lovely.
good. Yeah, good.
Yeah, very cool. We're down to the last couple of minutes. So, in terms of support, who's the biggest supporter for you? Like, are you like with the Swedish team? Are you funded, or you got to seek your own sponsorship out, or how does it work?
It's a mix of everything. So now we're fully funded by the Swedish Olympic Committee, but in Sweden it's like the Swedish Olympic Committee for the top squads, for the top teams, and then we also have the federation, and the clubs are a really big part of the funding before you're there, and then once you're there, it's sort of equal pieces from everyone. But like the years leading up before. Obviously, you have to get more money into the campaign. So we also have a lot of good sponsors that's been with us from the start, and that's still helping out a lot. So we're quite grateful for the whole setup.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, the club culture is pretty impressive in Sweden. So you're what are you? KSS,
Yeah. So I'm from the Stockholm.
Yep.
Stockholm club, which is KSSS, but Royal Swedish Club basically. And Rebecca is from the Gothenburg one. So new for this, leading up to Paris is a lot of the teams are actually split in the clubs. So the clubs are working together for the first time.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's rare. Bossy knows all about that.
I was just thinking, I was trying to remember, we were hosted by the KSSS Yacht Club when we came there for the Volvo, I think, like at one stage. And then we also had a bit of a party on the front lawn of the palace with the royal family.
Yeah.
And the king gets up there, stands at the podium and like knocks on the microphone. Quiet, please. I am the king. Then another little incident that night, I've gone into the palace to go to the toilet, and as I'm walking back, he's walking towards me with the full family and princess and everything, and he said, "How was the royal throne?"
I thought you were going to say you walked up to him and says, "I'm Bice."
How was the royal throne? That's a beauty.
Really good on
So
you.
anyway, good fun. Good fun. Yeah.
So you want to give us any forecasts? How are you going to go? You going to lay it out? Going for gold?
Win, gold, easy.
Going for gold.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice.
Well, you've got the reverse curse now, so you've have some luck at some stage.
What about, has you got a planned celebration? Do you think about that?
For next year, you mean?
Yeah, once you've got the gold, like when you're on the podium at the Olympics, like
yeah, I will have a suggestion. Don't go out by yourself with your gold medal around your neck in Marseille.
True.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah. They get disappeared pretty quick, those things. So you've got to be protective. Oh dear. All right. Cool. Vilma, you're a bloody legend. It was an amazing performance. You and Rebecca. It's phenomenal performance. All down to the boat, clearly. But
super boat, super crew,
super boat,
super crew.
All to thank.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of fun chatting to you. We'll be watching you guys with interest and cheering you on. So and anytime something goes wrong, just say Bice and you'll think of us.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Beauty. Thanks,
Stay
Vilma.
focused and have fun.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bice, that'll stick. Jesus.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, good. It's almost a bit of a dad joke, that one as well.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. We're going to have an issue, gents, because the caliber of the people that we're seem to be interviewing here, we're essentially hedging our bets. We're going to win a shitload of gold.
Oh,
mate.
We're in a no lose. Well, the reverse curse might be spun on its head a little bit, but you're bound to get one winner there for sure.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
And they're
covering
they're almost at the top of the list. So, yeah. It's good to see. And I mean, we've seen it over the year, like the advancement of how these boats are sailed.
Yep.
And the way they're getting these boats around the racetrack now is mind blowing.
You know what I love about our sport? Like, we just talk to someone that dominated the world, right, in our sport. There's just, and how cool was she? She was so much fun to chat to. There's no prima donnas in our sport. Well, there's one or two, but, there's bugger all prima donnas in our sport. Like, we just get to have such good conversations with, such cool people. We're lucky. We're lucky human beings. That's all I'll say.
Well done, us.
I concur.
Yeah. Well done, us.
Well, we're the lucky ones.
Give yourself a high five, BP. Poke myself in the eye.
Lads, we'll move on. We want to start talking about club events. Obviously, now we do a bit of a plug for our sponsors, Radix. But let's we'll talk about a club event first. We got an email from Matt Butterworth. Matt is he's a good lad. He just wanted us to plug.
Yeah,
Butts. Each year we have an awesome match racing event, September 9. The David Lukens Memorial Match Race Regatta, RPAYC, so Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club in New South Wales, in Australia, just northern part of Sydney.
Dean's brother, by the way.
Yeah. Anyway, it's an annual event on the racing colour. Sees the current and former youth development program participants and club members compete in a Grade 4 match racing event. Previous winners include Jimmy, Tommy, so the Spittles, Nina Curtis, Jason
all
Waterhouse.
The Spittles.
Yep. Olivia Price and Pat Langley, who is, of course, the main man behind Vycobi.
Of Vycobi fame.
Yep.
Of course.
List goes on.
Himself.
The challenge for me and the team this year is to compete against our youth mob, my son, and to meet the 360 kg weight limit. Some of us would do well sailing a fin. The best part of the team is a 54 kilo female skiffy from Manly. To meet this goal and reduce our total crew weight to 360, we need to find 14 kgs, a big challenge. Tommy Spittle has suggested no beer and identified certain brands of rum from Barbados that do not...
God, that's just...
Tommy will be on the wild...
About?
He'll be on the Wild Oats Rose Hypnol.
The best advice received was to jump on the Radix program. I have transformed my health to meet my goals and focus on the team with a simple supplement of Radix banana shake with all the good gear I need to compete and stay healthy. Looking forward to giving the RPAYC youth squad and a few other legends a kicking this weekend. It's going on right now. Thanks, guys. Feeling good. Down to 85 kilos from 93 in 4 weeks.
Butsy. Nailing it.
Looks like we're good to go in the weigh-in and hopefully bring home the hardware. And he can also fit into his Vycobi Flexi Force pants. Matt Butterworth, Rear Commodore, Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club. What an email!
If
hey?
No one, I sent a note during the week on Slack to ourselves. How good are the emails coming through?
Yeah.
How good is that one from Butsy?
Yeah.
Like he obviously, well, he doesn't need to buy a new set of pants now, but he's definitely going in the running for the Vycobi Listener of the Week with something like that.
Putting an effort this week. He also, and I mean, he plugs our sponsors for us. He also said at the very end, thanks for supporting Pat and the Vycobi team. He has an amazing product, runs a great local operation. We'd like to support our local businesses at RPAYC. So that's really nice. Yep. Well said. But it's a good mention of both the sponsors we have on the show for this week. So, of course, the Vycobi team. If you go to
the beauty
Vycobi,
of it,
hey,
the beauty of it is it's not us telling people what it's all about. It's someone actually having a go and telling us, that it works.
Yeah.
So,
apologies, Matt, because it might even be Butso being from the East Coast. Just whack an O at the end. S-A-U whack a Y at the end.
Yeah.
I'd be Bice up there.
But Matt did mention he's been using the drinks from the Radix nutrition team. So they've got a whole range of different ones which provide maximum absorption and proven quality. They've got the whey protein and the plant protein. And then they've got recovery smoothies like berry and banana. They've got the protein and superfoods recovery smoothies.
I'm going to need a recovery smoothie after this episode, boys. Jesus.
Anyway, just remember when you go to the website, so Radix Nutrition, just jump on the website, and if you want a discount, just type in bar karate. You'll get a discount. So that's the good one
forever
for that. Yep. So 10% discount for that one. So that regatta's going on. The other one on Facebook Messenger, we got a little note. I will compliment everyone. They've been coming through on cheers at bar karate, and that's making my life so much easier, pulling all these together. The Port Macquarie Yacht Club have got their Ocean Race Regatta on this weekend as well, 9 and 10, a series of short races. So Port Macquarie is a beautiful part of Australia, if you've never heard of it. It's middle of the east coast of Australia. It's just gorgeous there. So if you do want to ever go and do a regatta, look it up for next year because it's on this weekend. And just a suggestion, if you do want to plug your event, don't try and send it to us a couple of days before the event. Send it to us a few weeks in advance so we can give you a warm-up, okay? But, yeah, best of luck to those. Speaking of events I want to plug, boys, coming up, 505 Worlds are getting close.
Good.
Yeah, that's right. 23rd September, October 1st, St. Francis Yacht Club. So we're in San Francisco. Last time I think we were in San Francisco, they did all the sailing down on Richmond Circle. So you'd spent about 2.5 hours.
2 hours getting back home.
Yeah, getting down and coming back. But this time it's right in front of St. Francis. And Course B is actually right in front of the city. So right in next to all the docks there. So basically you'll be able to, if you're in San Fran, and there's a few good bars just along the docks there. So you'll be able to, you can sit in St. Francis, which is a lovely place to go and hang out, or you could be at just down at Fisherman's Wharf and you'll be able to watch it all. So she's a glamour. It's going to be a good one. Obviously the most important regatta of the whole world, being the 5-0s. Big tide though.
Second most important.
Second most important, yeah, of course.
Because the most important is clearly next year's Worlds being held in Adelaide.
Oh, yeah, of course. But lots of tide, pretty much of a One Direction course there, but it'll be good fun. And, of course, all the wingdings will be in the way, coming straight out of St. Francis. So it'll be good. Good carnage. But great fun.
Speaking of which, I just ran into Morgan Larson, actually, at the Maxi Worlds, who said he will be travelling next year down to Oz for the Worlds.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go. It's a bit of a fan of the show and be good to see him down. So,
oh, mate, Carter Jackson's popped up on the entry list. Carter Jackson.
Hello. We're going to have to be there. We're going to have to be there, aren't we?
Oh,
we might set up the studio at Adelaide Sailing Club just for live bar karate.
I think it's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's a done deal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Shall we go on to the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week? Brought to us by our friends at Vycobi. So for all your performance sailing needs and also sort of performance gear and clothing, our friends at...
Not to mention some of the shoreside gear as well.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Very nice for that matter.
The reason we got behind Vycobi is one... We love the gear. We love the people behind it. We're great mates with them, but they've bought out their quick release harness, the Torque QR trapeze harness, which is, as Pat said, they didn't want to wait for them to all the back and forth going on about what they're going to do about quick release harnesses. They've just designed one. They've created it, and she's a goer. Same with their new hiking pants as well, which can be adjusted. I pulled them out to some of the top coaches and sailors around and showed them the pants, and they're all into it. So they're very good. I do particularly, I said this last week, but I'll say it again, I do particularly like that stomach strap.
The girdle. Well, I'm going to put one on after this trip.
Oh, I love it. But anyway, again, if you go to Vycobi and you use the code BARKARATE, you'll get 10% discount from the team there. And they are no two words about it. Super good people. They'll look after everyone. Good quality gear. They're the right sort of human beings. So, yeah, we're into it. Cool. So now that I've mentioned all that, we do have to mention our listeners because we've had some good ones. Of course, one of our favourites is back, Denise Del Mundo from Canada.
Canada.
Our local Canadian.
She's I think we decided she was the listener of the year last year. That was what we awarded, the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Year. She responded quite strongly to a few episodes ago, episode 224 from memory. All I could picture when Bice talked about a tracksuit being included in the contract was this with the Barkarati logo embroidered on the back, which is, man, some of the shiniest tracksuits you've ever seen. Maybe I'll have to share that. But anyway, I'm sure we could have one pair made as tearaways for hot time. How good. Didn't think of tearaways, boss.
Mate, we're definitely getting tearaways, and we're definitely going to start doing some clips of our show as recordings. So, and that will feature, of course, heavily.
Yep.
I can see it now. There's going to be a meme out of this. Meme.
Memo.
It's a good one. But we might share that photo that she sent through so you can visualise Bice in a shiny tracksuit. But
yeah, I like it.
Another good email was Steve Burnett. G'day, mates. Love the show. Best thing for the Southern humour. Often chuckling away in my car to your banter. Had this Marley draft for a week, pondering if it's a good idea or not. You've done 2 proper Cape 31 episodes. Really enjoyed them, but would love to have some local South African flavour.
Yeah.
No clue how many South African, the country, not the state, listeners you have. So maybe far from your target, but no, we got a heap of you.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a really interesting story how it all happened. And there's a bit of debate.
It is actually a very interesting story.
Yeah. So we might leave that. But he brought that up and wants to talk about the whole element about the Cape 31, how it all happened and stuff. And I think he's probably spot on. So I think it's a great email.
I've got an idea.
Yeah.
I've just seen on the social media lately.
Yeah.
The Royal Cape Yacht Club have just opened what I think they call it the Eastern Bar. So why don't we get together, get our asses over there? We can sit down with everyone behind this project at one of the Cape 31 regattas being held in Cape Town and talk about it as a live bar karate.
The only concern,
could be pretty simple.
The only concern I'd have is a lot of wind noise on the microphones.
No, not within the Eastern Bar. Like we can get Hilps there, we can get Mike there, everyone.
Yeah, Tina.
Even the man himself, Irvin.
Yeah,
so,
we can get everyone. No, it'll be good. But I appreciate that email, Steve, because it is a good one. I mean, there was some sort of controversial stuff you threw in there that I've decided not to read out, and we'll save it for the episode, I think. But he definitely he threw a few things in there, and then he also said probably I won't mention the cricket because you'll probably bring up. Won't mention the rugby because you'll probably bring up the cricket. So yeah, no, that's fine. That's good. That's good. Fair enough. And then. The other one, I guess, that was of interest is Phil Shearer just coming in on the meaning of Gen 2 after last week's episode with James. Impressive young man who'll go far in sport and life. When I first heard Team Gen 2, I wondered if that what the name meant. I made the connection with penguins, but I assumed there was a deeper meaning behind the name. Love the story of naming the boat and Team Gen 2 after the Gen 2 penguins. It's a good story for the bar, but it doesn't give potential sponsors something they can connect with. I don't know. People like penguins, particularly in South Africa, down in Cape Town there. When you look
especially smoked on... Oh, no, sorry. Go on.
When you look at the name, Gen could refer to the generation in the same way it could be used for Gen Y or Gen X, etc. And you could also refer to generations, a multi-generation view of the world, environment, etc. The 2 could be a 2WO or 2OO or TO. Tied to the word generation, it could have multiple meanings to fit the goal of the team. Gen could be Generation 2, a bit like Me Too movement. We're all in this together. We need to do our bit, Gen 2 plan. Anyway, he's pitching the whole thing about... how to market. So, you know, what I liked about this email was that this bloke's just sat down and thought of a whole bunch of ideas for us to pass on to James to help him attract sponsorship. And then we could...
And this way we get more listeners too. Because you guaranteed James will have to listen to this episode to hear about the email that got sent to us that should have been sent to him, but now we're discussing it.
We'll forward it on. But anyway, it's a nice one. But congratulations. So we got a few contenders this week. I do think Denise has come in hard and hot, and Butts probably needs to come into contendership as well. But remember,
we'll put them in the hat for sure.
If you are listening for the first time with the Vycobi Jack Lloyd Memorial Listener of the Week, every month Vycobi going to give away $200 voucher for the Listener of the Month. So we'll decide that, and I hope you boys are keeping track. And and that goes on all year. So cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well worth it. Get into it.
Ole, 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 ole. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
It's hot time with Bice.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Mate, I'll tell you, if I was in me
hot time
tracking
with
now,
Bice.
I would have whipped those bastards off way earlier.
I love
We've
it.
never been so
She
close to
is-
the truth this time, have we?
Hooking a chook. Now, boys, go straight to it, Maxi Worlds.
You were there.
I flew out of there yesterday. I've missed the last day, but it doesn't look as though I've missed much out there. In the fact I've been just watching the tracker whilst recording it. Not much wind at all. Which could be interesting. Time of recording, they're still sailing, but who knows what's going to happen, whether they call it short, they pull the pin, but looking across the fleet, people are doing 2 knots, 3 knots. So based on that current standings, well, before I get into the standings, actually, just a quick shout out to fellow Barcaradians that just came up and had a bit of a chat whilst I was there. Just saying, listeners of the show, like the show, blah, blah, blah. So thanks for reaching out. And next year, I'm thinking we should hold a Barcarati party in Sardinia.
Oh, God.
What do you think?
We've got some good things coming up.
Hell yeah. I mean, all these ideas haven't cost us much so far on this episode, but
I'd love to
maybe
follow
the Barcarati show party next year might be running under another name, just a bit of an alias like Rolex or Southern Spas or North Sales or something. But we will be doing something.
look, my view on Sardinia, mate. We had a good time there, so we're happy to revisit.
Mate, I got to just sailing aside. Holy crap, the wealth on that island or of the boats and everything around, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Complete different thing. Oh, someone ringing me. So that was quite an eye-opener. Quick shout-out to the Galatea crew who had me on as a guest for a couple of days.
Oh, nice.
And got slightly funny. Wally Cento.
Nice one.
I was unaware, and this wouldn't have changed things, but as a guest, we had 3 or 4 guests on the back of the boat. And I, being the guest, was kind of helping everyone. It was quite a windy day, so helping everyone from side to side. And the guy who goes through all the video footage, he said to me the next day, by the way, we had a GoPro on the back of the boat, and not sure if you're aware, but there's something in this world called the Me Too movement. You should watch yourself. Now, what I'm saying, it was very windy, very rough, so a lot of guest work to help people side to side. So there was nothing in it, of course, but it was just a bit of a funny comment running down the side.
Yep.
So, okay, results-wise, depending again on today, the Surveyor looks as though they're going to take out J class. I think they're leading by at least a few points. Maxi A's Galatea, of course, with exceptional guest herding skills, look as though they'll take that out going into the last day ahead with 8 points. Sailed very well with a Bullet 93, actually. Probably looks in second. And then another one, a name that's been around the yachting scene for quite some time, the Leopard 3.
Oh,
After a major refit,
major.
pulled a lot of weight out of it, put a new pipe in it, a bunch of new sails, sailing very well as well. So they're in third. Maxi Bees, Bella Mente, and Proteus at the top of the leaderboard. Again, Bella currently sailing first regatta with twin rudders. So a big change to them. These boats are chopping and changing all over the joint. It's pretty cool to see.
And they got Moose back on board, haven't they?
Well, he's been there for 11 years, pushing for the twin rudders for about 14 years. And finally they've got him. And they, again, seeing what's going to happen today. I did see Proteus, who were 3 or 4 points behind, were easily leading the fleet. And whether that's going to be enough for them to take the win, or Bella's going to hold off and go there. But cool boats to see, chop and change it. Like these are the maxis, we'll call it the 72s, original 72s. Ballast in, rudders moving, less crew, more crew, different sail configurations, twisty rigs. We'll talk about that later. But pretty cool to see. And then something else really cool, the multi-hulls. First time the fleet of multi-hulls have been sailing with the Allegra, Highland Fling and Connect City. Had a look over the Highland Fling, the Gunboat 80. Pretty impressive kit.
Nice bit of kit.
Gents. Very nice.
Is there anything we can talk about there?
Written all over it, has it?
With Gunboat?
Yeah.
Stand by. Listen up. But basically, I think we should all go to St. Tropez and do a live recording from a gunboat during the regatta.
Did you get my note about my thoughts on that?
Yeah, exactly. And we cannot mention that on the show.
I love it.
Shout out Susan from Gunboat, by the way.
No, she's a smart lady. Good idea.
Yep, absolutely. So where have we gone after this episode? We're going to Sardinia for Bark Radio. We're going to Cape Town. We're going to St. Tropez.
Yep.
Why not Mars? We'll go to New York City or something next, I guess.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else is happening actually in the world of yachting?
6 metre worlds.
We've got the Sail GP taking place. Sail GP, we're recording for the listeners on a Saturday morning.
Yep.
Practice day yesterday looked as though the Danes, the Great Danes, Rockwell Racing, took out the practice day. But I'll be probably perched up in my hotel room watching a bit of yacht racing this afternoon in that regard. See how that all...
You better go and get yourself a fan.
Yeah, good call.
Yep.
What else? 6 metre worlds going on, cows?
I think it's run and done now. So congratulations to a USA team of Scoundrel taking the win across from. It's a good mix. There's quite a fleet here, boys.
It was massive. The build up at Hamble Yacht Services was massive. They were all coming in there. It was damn cool.
Yeah, so they had the open division. So they had 18 boats in the open division and 15 boats in the classics. So that's pretty bloody impressive in the old 6 metres. So good to see. And obviously a lot of good racing. So well done to that. The other one I do think we should probably mention next week is America's Cup, the first regatta of the America's Cup.
Hey, gents, can I just give you a little bit of something?
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've been observing during the week, and I'll get to the America's Cup here, but 50 years ago, as of yesterday, the 8th of September, was the first start of the Whitbread Round the World race.
Correct.
Which turned into Volvo, which turned into Ocean Race, and of course, Don and the Ocean Globe race will be taking off this Sunday, like a race pretty much dominated by the French with over half crew. We mentioned that last week, and we'll get Don on, but be interesting to keep an eye on that. But 40 years ago, in the America's Cup, Australia too took the win.
Yeah, we're not quite there. It's September 26th, but we're close.
Correct.
Yep.
But as if you look in the years, then 30 years ago, 93, the Cup was won by New Zealand.
Oh, here we go.
Taking off the Americans. 2003, Alenghi win the Cup and take it off New Zealand. 2013, Oracle retain the Cup in San Francisco after the
research going.
The big what we call it, the Alenghi Oracle battle in the big cat and try. 2023, nothing.
2023
fucks up the whole story.
You're doing so well.
I know.
Oh, I love it.
Nothing heard.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fired up
But of
about.
course, we'll be. Tell you what, next year we should definitely go to Barcelona for the America's Cup.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And go
Yeah,
live.
we've still got the permission for the Baccarati barge in the middle of the fleet, in the middle of the.
We need
race course.
Emirates to sponsor us.
Yeah.
So Emirates, shout out to Emirates, great airline. Get us on board.
What else? Oh, anything else you need to bring up, Mr. Bice?
No, negatore in that regard.
I do want to point out we've got a couple of weeks till the mini Transat starts, which is obviously they go to France into the Canaries, then across to Guadeloupe, which will be a ton of fun.
Yes.
Lots of blokes in little tiny boats and ladies, and just flogging it out and having a grand old time. You'll be so excited, BP.
Yeah, it's always a good time of year, this race. So it's going to be good to watch. We got right into it last time. Obviously, a lot has happened since then. We had our Russian friend on, but that had all changed her life. But we should see what stories evolve from this one. It'll be good.
She's
From memory, it was
now. You're talking
There you go.
Irina?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grasheva, I think.
From memory, there's controversy around the start last year, wasn't there?
Yeah.
For the mini Transat,
Yeah,
in
remember
regards
all-
to the breeze and super windy, and
That's it.
some started, some pulled in. So
That's
not
it.
necessarily controversy, but full
Things
name
happen.
off, as they say,
Yep.
across the bar of certain death.
Yep. And then
Yes.
the other one that we're fired up about that one. The other one that we probably need to mention is that obviously the Figaro is going on, the La Solitaire de Figaro. So stage 2 finished over the weekend.
I kind of wanted you to break into the Queen song right there.
No. But
I think we need a theme song to talk about this.
if you haven't paid attention to that one, so basically it's about amalgamated times. So they take your times and add the times up together. And what's happened at the finish of the last of the stage 2 was that like 3 or 4 boats got to the line, and then the next 15 boats took 12 hours to get over the line. They were just sitting there just drifting through, and it was a nightmare. And so I think like the guy that won the first stage, Tom Dolan, the Irish bloke, he's went from like having a 6-minute lead to now he's down like 9.5 hours. You know, so it's a nightmare for all those people that got caught. But yeah, there's a bit went on there for that. So I just thought I'd let you all know. And then that's it, I think. I don't know if there's anything else that we need to share.
Well, big week
think
in
that's
sailing
it.
coming up.
Oh, huge.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm most excited about the America's Cup, the AC40, that regatta, because I'm definitely excited about that in Villanova. So that'll be a ton of fun. Getting fired up for the minis to go on across the ocean, and beyond that, all good. More than good.
So any Barcaradians who will be in Villanova, just give us a little shout out.
Oh, yeah.
And let's get a bit of banter going. We might have a party in Villanova. Let's
There
do
we
it.
go. Let's
Cool.
do that.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Cheers then.
Rightio, just going to go
Cheers,
ring. Going to go. We on the phone here?
Thanks, Grandad.
I'm going to go ring out my t-shirt.
You are sweating, aren't you? Look at you.
Fucking hell.
You poor bugger.
Righto, let's go.
All right.
All right. Get out the guitar.
Guitar.
Hey, get your producer to hand your guitar over to the BP.
Here's my guitar.
There it is, yeah.
It's not going to work.
And
All right,
remember,
let's
listeners,
drum it away.
Radix Nutrition, go to their website, 10% discount, type in the code BARKARATI and you're away and good. And then, of course, the same with our friends from Bicovid, 10%, type in the barcode, the code BARKARATI and you're good. Happy days.
And
BARKARATI.
shout out to Emirates. We need to get on some flights.
Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for listening. We love you. And look forward to speaking to you again next week.